All right, so we're diving into the world of refuse collection today. When I first saw this on our list, I thought, really? Garbage. But the more I dug into the RoleCatcher stuff, the more surprised I was, especially about how you get started.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, you'd think to become like the king or queen of the garbage truck, you'd need years of school, right? Like what kind of trash goes where and all that. But RoleCatcher says not so much.
It's true. This is one of those fields where the old rules about you need a degree for everything kind of go out the window. Don't get me wrong, there's stuff to learn, but it's more about having the right attitude and honestly, a strong back.
So no PhD in trash required. That's good to know.
Hmm.
But for those of us who've never even ridden in a garbage truck, paint me a picture. What does a day in the life actually look like, according to RoleCatcher, for someone living that refuse collector dream?
Well, first off, forget sleeping in. Imagine you're up before the sun, you meet up with your team, and you've got this carefully planned route. And we're not just talking about your average suburban street. We're talking homes, businesses, even construction sites you're collecting it all.
Sounds like they're definitely getting their steps in. But it's got to be more than just muscle, right? I'm seeing something here about accurate recording of how much refuse you pick up. Now, I'm all for keeping things organized, but what's the story there?
It's actually pretty interesting when you dig into it. It all ties back to this bigger picture of being environmentally responsible. All that data they're carefully writing down, it's not just for bragging rights about who hauled the most trash that day. It actually gets fed into a whole system.
Okay, so like high-tech trash tracking.
Kind of. They use it to analyze trends like what kind of trash is increasing, where is it coming from, stuff like that. Helps make those collection routes super efficient, which saves fuel, cuts down on pollution, even informs new recycling programs. It's way more connected than you'd think.
So it's like being a secret agent, but for sustainability. I like it.
Yeah.
Speaking of incentives, though, RoleCatcher mentions good pay and job security as big perks of this line of work.
Yeah, those are often at the top of the list for folks considering a career change, that sense of stability.
Absolutely. But to their credit, RoleCatcher doesn't just paint a rosy picture. They're upfront about the tougher parts of the job.
Yeah, it's crucial to be realistic about those downsides. It's as physically demanding, you're out there in all kinds of weather, and yeah, let's just say there are some unique smells involved. Not always sunshine and roses out there.
Maybe we'll leave the scent-based metaphors for another time. But seriously, it's good to see a resource that's honest about both sides. And hey, at least you're never stuck at a desk all day. You're out there making a difference, rain or shine, or, well, you get the idea. Speaking of unexpected things, I found something surprising in the work environment section technology. Who knew trash collection was going high-tech?
Right. It's not the first thing that comes to mind with garbage trucks, is it? But this is where things get really interesting.
So we've gone from hauling trash to, like, high-tech solutions. It's a whole new world out there. But where do humans actually fit in with all this automation happening? Does a future refuse collector need to be, like, part data analyst, part weightlifter?
That's a great question, and honestly, it's one that RoleCatcher grapples with a bit.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah. Well, they're not saying robots are taking over just yet, though they do mention some pretty futuristic, like automated collection systems being tested out there. But the writings on the wall, data analysis, AI, that's becoming huge in this field.
So maybe not robots replacing humans tomorrow,
Mm.
but it sounds like being good with numbers is becoming as important as being strong. How does that actually play out?
Imagine this. You're not just picking up the trash, you're analyzing it. You're the one spotting those diamond-in-the-rough recyclable materials, using data to figure out the best route so those trucks are running efficiently. Maybe even predicting, like, okay, this neighbor, he's going to have a ton of yard waste after this weekend, got to adjust the schedule.
It's like waste whispering detective, uncovering the hidden patterns in our trash to make the whole system run smoother.
Exactly. And the cool thing is RoleCatcher emphasizes that these waste management companies, they're investing in their people. They talk about specific training programs, helping employees level up their skills, get comfortable with the tech, all that.
That's really encouraging.
Right.
So it's not about robots replacing humans. It's more like humans and technology working together in new ways.
Totally. And that actually leads into another cool thing. RoleCatcher outlines career progression. Remember how we talked about limited career growth being a potential downside?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. What's the deal there?
Turns out there's more to the story. They lay out this clear three-stage progression, starting with, of course, entry-level refuse collector, That's where you're mastering the core stuff,
Hmm.
collecting, loading, all that careful recording of refuse amounts, building those solid fundamentals.
Got it. So you're proving you're reliable, detail-oriented, all that good stuff.
Then what? That's when you level up to junior refuse collector. Responsibilities get broader. Now you're handling different types of waste. Household stuff, construction debris, even dipping your toes into the world of hazardous materials.
Okay, so not just picking up trash anymore, but becoming an expert in the nuances of different waste streams
Mm.
and how to handle it all safely, responsibly, of course.
Exactly. And then the final stage, senior refuse collector. This is where leadership comes in.
Okay, so you're basically the CEO of trash.
Haha, something like that. You're coordinating the whole collection operation, mentoring those junior folks, making sure everything runs smoothly, like the conductor of a waste management orchestra.
Love that visual. So it sounds like you need a pretty unique combo of skills for that role. On-the-ground experience, comfort with the tech, and those leadership qualities. That's impressive. But let's get real for a sec. All this talk about data and robots
Mhm.
is cool, but this is still a very human job.
Right, 100%.
I mean, you're interacting with people all day long, residents, business owners, probably even a few grumpy dogs who aren't too thrilled you're near their trash cans.
Oh, for sure. And RoleCatcher gets into that. They actually stress those soft skills.
Hmm.
Good communication, being a team player, even a bit of conflict resolution now and then.
Conflict resolution over trash.
Yeah.
Sounds like a story for another time. But seriously, it makes sense. You're dealing with folks from all walks of life, and things can get, well, a little heated sometimes when it comes to garbage.
You're telling me, think about it. A resident's missed their pickup. They're upset. Or you and your teammate disagree on the best way to wrangle a particularly awkward piece of furniture onto the truck. Real life stuff. Takes tact, maybe a little diplomacy, and a dash of humor never hurts.
You know, going through all this stuff about refuse collectors, it really hit me. This isn't just a job about, well, garbage. It's about keeping our communities running smoothly, our environment healthy. That's something people don't always think about.
Totally. It's easy to take for granted, right? But the work these folks do day after day keeps our cities clean, our streets livable. It's a huge part of a healthier planet when you think about it.
It's like they're the unsung heroes of public health, of sustainability, all that. RoleCatcher actually shared a quote from a senior refuse collector that really stuck with me. I think you'll appreciate this. They said, "It's not glamorous, but it's honest work, and I'm proud of what I do. I know I'm making a difference." Powerful stuff.
Isn't that great? Really gets to that idea of finding dignity fulfillment in any job. It's not always about the image, right? It's about knowing you're doing something that matters.
100%. And this deep dive, it's got me thinking bigger picture now. What's next for this whole waste management world? What's the future look like?
Okay. Well, if there's one thing that's clear, it's that this industry is not standing still. Remember that work environment section. RoleCatcher really paints this picture of a field on the verge of a total transformation. Technology is a big part of it, but also just this growing awareness of how what we throw away, it impacts everything.
Yeah, like that aha moment when you realize your recycling bin's overflowing every week. Makes you rethink everything.
Exactly. And that kind of collective wake-up call, it's driving so much innovation. It's creating all these new jobs, new needs for expertise that didn't even exist a while ago. We're talking about like waste reduction specialists, people whose whole job is figuring out how to make less trash. Recycling coordinators, folks who are like the air traffic controllers of making sure those materials get where they need to go. Even engineers, but they're designing a sustainable waste management system as a whole shebang.
So it's less about just dealing with the garbage we have and more about rethinking the whole system.
Right. Minimizing waste, getting the most out of what we do have to throw away. It's a whole different way of looking at things.
I like it. But I got to be honest, all this talk of super tech and new job titles, it's a lot. For someone listening who's like, okay, this sounds amazing, but where do I even start?
Mm.
What would you say?
Well, that's where resources like RoleCatcher, they're pure gold. Break it down, help you figure out your strengths, see what clicks with your interests. They even talk about the importance of just like getting out there and talking to people, going to industry events, joining those professional groups, surrounding yourself with others who are passionate about this stuff.
Because even in a high-tech future, sometimes that human connection is what makes all the difference.
For sure. Learning from those who've been there, done that.
Love it. Well, as we wrap up this deep dive, there's one last thing from RoleCatcher I want to share. It's a question they ask job seekers, but I think it's something we can all benefit from pondering, no matter what we do.
All right, hit me with it.
They ask, what kind of impact do you want to make on the world?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right. And what I love about it is there's no right answer. It's about those deeper values. What are you passionate about? How can your skills, your interests, play a part in something bigger?
And sometimes it's the careers we least expect that end up being the most impactful. Who knew we'd be talking about refuse collection like this?
Exactly. It's been eye-opening. So, to everyone listening, whether you're considering this line of work, exploring other options, or just on your own journey, remember, your work matters. You have an impact. And sometimes the possibilities are even greater than we can imagine. Keep those minds curious, and until next time, keep exploring those endless possibilities out there.